Angle gear is what sends power from the transmission to the back wheels in the all-wheel drive system in an all-wheel drive Volvo. This is bolted to your transmission and couples with the spline from the transmission. As you turn the input shaft to the transmission, the spline is being spun as well as the differential or the internal spline inside of the transmission where your right-hand CV axle will be coming out of. So this is where your CV axle will be coming from, out to your right-hand wheel. This spline is where the collar gear slips onto and the angle gear sits here. And so this spline is directly powering the angle gear, which is sending power to the rear wheels. Very peculiar system here. The collar gear will mate up with the spline shaft here and then drive the rear wheels. And your CV axle will come out of this side of the angle gear to the right wheel of your car. Now this angle gear is prone to failure in several ways. One, they tend to leak, and when they leak, the fluid comes out of them and all of the bearings and gears will get destroyed inside of these. What we can do is we can stop the leaking, and that's what we're doing today. So I've compiled a list of all of the seals that you're going to need and gaskets and O-rings to completely reseal your angle gear. And I actually will, as a bonus, give you a picture of all of the bearings you'd need if you wanted to replace the bearings inside of this as well. I didn't because mine are in good shape. I just resealed it. So this can be done with a 13 and 12 millimeter. In my case, since mine's been reopened, I have two studs here. The Volvo procedure calls for the studs on the bottom if you replace your angle gear or if you rebuild it. So you'll have all 12s if it hasn't been rebuilt, or a 13 and 12s if it has been rebuilt. And you'll need to be able to loosen this, basically adjusts the lash inside of the angle gear. So you've got a bevel gear that rides here, and then you have a bearing here, and this bearing is pushing in and out on the bevel gear and determining the lash inside of that. Now, what you can do to avoid having to reset this is actually just creating a marker. So what I did is I center punched so that I would know exactly what tooth I needed to realign with. And I put it back to the same spot it was at before. Therefore, I'm not going to have to reset the lash in here. If you change the bearing here and you press this out, you will then need to reset this tolerance, and that's going to involve a lot of in-depth measurements, and I'm not getting into that with this gear. I have a replacement gear that I'm going to end up rebuilding with new bearings, and I will be doing that procedure in the future. So I'll show you the rebuild and not so much the disassembly, since it's literally just taking these bolts off and prying the cover off. But once inside, I'll show you replacement of the seals and how to make sure that this thing's not going to leak again. The way that I went about disassembling this was actually removing the bolts, prying the cover off, and then pulling this off after the fact. Because there's a lot of tension on this, a plastic one of these doesn't work that well. Conversely, you could probably just hit it with a hammer and chisel. I didn't really feel like damaging mine. So anyway, let's get to the reassembly. All right, I'm gonna add a drain plug here. This is a test gear. This is a bad angle gear. Potentially for parts in the future and or rebuild it, but for now it's gonna be my test gear before I actually do the one that's over there. Got a drill, tap, and I got an actual stone to flatten after I drill. So I think I'm gonna use a step bit first to drill, and then I'll use the bigger bit here to finalize the hole. This is really thin material, so I'm not sure this is actually gonna work for this drain plug, to be honest, because like you're not gonna get much thread engagement. We're gonna find out. Let's try it. Right. Our actual bit in there, and we need to keep this straight. So I'm just going to do the best I can to eyeball straight. Okay, there's that. Made it through, not very straight, but good enough. All right, let's tap the hole. Well, crucial mistake. Didn't decide to look at it, but I think you can see that there. M12 by 1.5, M12 by 1.25. Son of a bitch. All right, drilled it. I don't have a drain plug put in it yet. Not sure if this is going to work or not. I don't even know if it's straight or if it will seal, but we'll find out. I'm going to start putting it back together though. It's really bright. I'm sorry for the overexposure, but I got a drain plug in it, sealed. I was able to tighten it down pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together. I'm pretty confident. The one thing that I do need to do that I found is this seal here needs to go in about 5 mil. So I'm going to do that real quick, and that's pretty straightforward. All we're going to do is take our handy little seal press tool here and give her a little whack. Just need to make sure that it's consistent all the way around. Bent it. Yeah, I kind of bent it. I don't know if you can see it or not. We'll give it a go. Worst case Ontario, it leaks. Okay, that's that. Go ahead and put that in there. Get this thing lined up, which it is. It's good. And we will go ahead and put this on. So it looks like that could actually sit a little further in. Let me look at the other gear here. Yeah, I mean, we could go in another couple mil. There you go. Yep, so you can see the seal on the, I don't have anything to point with. The outside lip right there. It's nice and far down on there. There's actually another sealing lip on the other side of this, so I think even if that wasn't all the way down like it is here, it would be just fine. The next thing that we need to do then is put sealer here. If this hadn't been pulled apart before and actually resealed, you'd need to grind a 45 lip that's about 3 millimeters back, like this one is, all the way around. And this helps to build like a little bead of sealer on the inside lip here, and apparently it seals it better and keeps it from leaking. This is the Volvo procedure, by the way. That's not just me spewing garbage. So we got to do that. But let me double check the procedure and so how much I need to put on there, and then we'll do it. Okay, here we go. All right, so you apply the silicone to this side here. And we do a 5mm bead, which there's no chance I'm getting that right. 1mm from the edge. But there's some shmoo on here that I want to get rid of. Just to make sure that this thing has the best chance of being sealed, you know? I'll post the instructions that I followed in the link. In my description, there will be a link. This is going to be way too much, by the way. This has like this big hole. I'm not sure how I'm going to manage this. Okay, ugly bead. Ugly bead. But it looks like a bead. Should work. Should work. Alright, so we want to kind of go like, let's make sure we got everything in here. This is in here. Seals. Got the seal there, or the drain plug, whatever I'm trying to say. We didn't do this one, but I don't care. Got the bearings. Got the race. Let's go for it. Oh, that's backwards. Okay, try 2. Sweet. Dropped right in. Boom. Let's grab some bolts. Again, there's a specific pattern and there's a specific place for all of the bolts. I'm pretty sure these two go at the very bottom, so that's what we'll do with them. We got some shmoo in the threads, which was a mistake. You're supposed to replace these, by the way, but I'm not gonna. I'm a bit of a rebel. If they're torque to yield, well, yeah, they're a torque to yield style bolt, but the spec is like torque plus angle. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run them down with an impact gun to the correct spec. But we're gonna start off where they suggest. We're gonna do the procedure correctly. Those are 12s. Okay. So they are crosswise 13.5 pounds-feet, and then 85 degrees, which is a ridiculous torque spec, but we'll try and follow it the best we can. Let's just throw that in there for safekeeping. Okay, let's grab a torque wrench. This is a 3/8 torque wrench. Goes down to 10 Newton meter or 10 pounds-feet. We're looking for 13.5, so we'll go to 13. We'll do 14. And we'll start here. Blew out the thumb here, so I can thumbs up. All right, I'm just gonna double check. I think I probably missed a couple. That one's done. That one's done. 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 Not done. Somehow missed that one. Done. 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 Okay. Now, we gotta do 90 degrees. Look at me! Got the trans. All right, let's torque them. All right, 90 degrees. Starting at the top. I gotta go a couple more degrees there. Perfect. So I remember what I've done. Boop. So a torque to yield bolt, what you're actually doing is stretching the bolt. But you can target a specific amount of stretch. So an engineer can say, for this amount of extra angle, we know we're getting this amount of clamp load, because it's very easy to measure stretch in a bolt. But a bolt stretches and you're getting it past its elastic the elastic yield region. So I'll show a graph here. Getting it past it, and then you're getting into the plastic region where it will not return back to its original state. It's actually deforming. Torqued them all. Pretty sure. May have missed one. I don't know. We'll find out. Just kidding, I did them all. So the next step is to then clock this in the correct orientation to take up the preload. I am not a differential setup expert, so what I did was, before I took it apart, I actually marked it. Yep, there it is, and I got a dot there. So basically I just turn this crown wheel with my homemade tool that's probably going to break until it gets there, and if it breaks, I hit it with a hammer until it's there. And that will get me to the correct preload. So I'm going to do that, and you can watch me do that. Oh yeah, she's gonna break. That's gotta be it right there. Ah, we're so close. Shit. Come on. Oh, come on, we just got a little bit more. Oh. Rounded. That's it. One more hit. That's it right there. Does it still spin? It does. And it sounds good. Granted, there's no grease in there right now, so I don't want to do too much of that. Okay, so you can see, yep, right there, you can see the marks line up. I had measured the depth before to be 2.1 millimeters between these 2 points here. So we can double check that. I'm not going to show it because I'm pretty confident this is correct based on the depth of this, or actually based on this and how many turns it did. So what I'm going to do is fill it with grease and send it. This is going to go back in the car when we're doing our manual swap, which is coming soon. Heck yeah. Thanks for watching. Hopefully somebody found this useful. If you didn't, put that thumbs down in the thing below.